everyone, and welcome to our webinar today on engaging socially sustainable employers. Why is it important? Thank you so much for all joining us today. It would be really great to hear from our participants if you would be happy to introduce yourselves in the chat function and let us know where you're listening from today. Now, this webinar is brought to you in partnership with the Commonwealth. So at this point, we would like to express our appreciation and gratitude for the Commonwealth for making this webinar possible. Now, the Commonwealth Year of Youth is running from 2023 until 2024, and the Commonwealth is celebrating by running a programme of initiatives to address issues that face young people, such as climate change, gender inequality, and unemployment, to name a few. This webinar is the second in a three-part series that is dedicated to young people, and today's session is aimed at young professionals across the Commonwealth. However, other people at other stages of their career and based in other countries are more than welcome to join us today. My name is Penny, and I represent the Institution of Occupational Safety and Health, or IOSH, who are a chartered body for health and safety professionals globally. We are a charity, and we have a simple vision, which is to create a safe and healthy world of work for everyone. IOSH is one of the 89 accredited organisations of the Commonwealth, and we believe that everyone deserves to go home from work at the end of the day and feeling both physically safe and mentally safe and well. Now, my role today will be to facilitate the webinar, and I'm really pleased to be joined by two of our expert speakers today, Mohammed and Timothy. Mohammed and Timothy have kindly volunteered their time to be with us today, and I'd like to say a massive thank you to them both for joining our webinar. I'll pass to Mohammed for him to introduce himself, followed by Timothy.
Yeah, thank you, Benny. Thank you all for joining us today. I am Mohammed Bahaddin, electrical engineer, certified member with IOSH and part of the Future Leaders Steering Group within IOSH. Joined the HAC for the past 10 years and been switched from different sectors and joined now from Saudi Arabia construction company. Thank you, Penny.
Thanks, Mohammed. Lovely to hear from you, and thanks for joining us. Timothy, I'll pass to you.
Thank you so very much, Penny. My name is Timothy Aluko from Nigeria. I am a certified member of IOSH. I've worked across multiple industry, oil and gas, engineering, facility, power generation, power distribution, with about 14 years work experience. I am an ENS analyst and a chartered fellow of the Sustainability Professionals of Nigeria. So thank you for having me. I welcome everybody all over the world. We trust that this will be a very, very engaging and exciting section. Thank you.
Thanks, Timothy, and thanks, Mohammed, as well for your introductions. Really looking forward to hearing from you both. Just quickly from me before I pass over to Mohammed to start our session. Now that we've obviously introduced the session and the speakers, I did want to give our participants just a brief outline really of how the webinar will be structured today before handing over. So in our webinar today, we are going to focus on understanding what social sustainability actually is and why it's important for young people. We'll also look at different tools and techniques that you can use in the workplace to encourage and promote social sustainability, and we will get to hear from Mohammed and Timothy as they reflect on their personal experiences in the workplace, which will be a really exciting part of the session. Now, as we all know, the session today is going to have a real focus on social sustainability. And before we pass to Mohammed to sort of introduce this topic and to discuss this further, I did want to ask if our participants on the call today would be happy to write into our chat box what social sustainability means to you and what is your definition of social sustainability. If you'd like to pop that into the chat now, we'll be really interested to hear your responses. And thank you in advance, everyone, for your feedback. I'm going to pass over to Mohammed at this point to continue with the session and to tell us more about what social sustainability actually is.
Thank you, Benny. Thank you. So we start with the what the social sustainability within the organization or within the communities is ability to promote the social well-being, so an inclusion for its member. So within the organization to include everyone, to include all staff within the community, all our neighbors, the all parties of the communities in general. And when the say inclusive, that's mean involving the all people. So like promoting diversity, equality, and supporting well-being, and to ensure the local and global communities are engaged with positively, and to ensure that individuals are treated fairly and in a way that promote good well-being and quality of life. Yeah, next, please. So once we hear about that employees socially sustainable, that exactly mean? So within the workplace, so the employers, they always to uh, focusing in creating the work environment that prioritize the employee well-being and embrace diversity and inclusion for everyone, and uphold ethical standards and actively contribute to the local community. So what they provide inside the organization and what they provide to outside the organization. And also the socially sustainable employers recognize the value of their employees by ensuring workers are at the heart of the business decisions and strategies. They involve in the participation, and they consult them in, for example, from the HSC or health and safety perspective. They involve in the creating the HSC policy of the organization uh, to assess and all hazards within the workplace, etc. Next, please. So the principles of social sustainability are, yeah, simply it's about people. It's all about people. So when we have here the Maslow, it's a hierarchy of needs. So and how, so we have a look at the components of the hierarchy of Maslow, and what the needs and how it's interlinked with the social sustainability. So within if we start with from bottom to up, there is psychological needs. So these are basic needs for everyone. They look after, so look after the water, the air, the shelter, the clothing, the sleep. So once they have the basic needs, essential things, so they go up to the safety needs. So within the workplace, they have the secure employment within the organization. In terms of the personal security, the health provided within the workplace and outside the workplace, and they move up to love, the need of love and belonging. So the workers feels part of team working toward a common goal. So they have friendship within the work, and to go beyond the working time. And then we get the STEAM. So workers' contributions are valued within the workplace. There is suggestions, respected, and they can input and make a difference, and they can speak freely. So that about to empower the whole staff and outside organization to empower the community. And once we have the shelter, food, and air, the shelter and employment, the sense of connection within our colleagues, the families, and we empowered within the workplace and outside the workplace. Then they come to the top, the Maslow hierarchy of needs, it's self-actualization. So workers are here recognized for their high performance and encouraged to be driven and to reach their full potential. Yes, next. So when we look about the social sustainability in the practice, how it looks like. So we see within the organization, they encourage the flexible working hours, so staff can decide to work specific uh, number of working hours, but there is freely to decide. And there is remote work options. We see the pandemic and the emergency, a lot of emergency that occur in the past, how this affect they cancel employees that have a choice to work from home, and keeping the workplace uh, clean and tidy. And we also the needs of training for the staff. They assessed, evaluated, and the training, specific training and provided within the workplace. We look also to like organization prioritize the worker health and safety. So by promoting a safe, respectful work environment with clear policies against discrimination and harassment, and also supporting the supportive child care policies. We have regular breaks and holiday allowances. They support their staff uh, within the mental health and well-being services that provided to them, and they give them the chance to volunteer in the local community. They give that time to make that happen and address social issues within the community, such as education and poverty reduction, healthy lifestyles. And in terms of diversity and inclusion, so actively recruiting and hiring a diverse workforce so that reflects the demographics of the community, fostering the culture of inclusion for all employees, so they feel valued and respected regardless of background, and providing unconscious bias training to promote fair treatment and opportunity for all employees. So by prioritizing social well-being alongside economic success, so employers can create positive impact on their employees, communities, and the world around them. Next, please. So if we ask questions, all of you, so what is the social sustainability? Why is the social sustainability important? So you can just freely just comment in the chat box. So why is social sustainability important? So working for socially sustainable organization, definitely they look after the individual's well-being, providing work-life balance, so everyone they can have balanced time in their personal time and the work time, and reduce the staff retention, to enhance the staff retention. And overall, there is a positive culture within the organization. So individuals make, in the individual's level, they makes work enjoyable for them, so allows to have a good work-life balance and promote good well-being. And yes, allow, of course, the have time for their family and their friends. From the employer side, they can increase employee engagement and satisfaction, retaining staff members, and creating a positive work culture in general. Next. So about my personal experience, the most important for me is the social sustainability. That's employee well-being, because a happy, healthy, and secure workforce is the backbone of any successful organization. Uh, when employees feel valued, supported, and treated fairly, so they are more engaged, more willing to participate, willing to advise their colleagues, and less likely by the end to leave the organization. So this focus on well-being translates to benefits the company, the community, and society as well. So within the workplace, there is we can say there are a lot of examples. There is social days that are organized uh, either in the yearly or quarterly basis, so that's enhanced the more engagement for employees, and, and to give a chance for the people within the organization to know each other from the different departments. And absolutely, the cross-functioning mentoring programs and training development plans that developed by the human resources team, and giving back to the community, it's the most important thing. So they have support programs like developing training for the housewives to be productive families, and expanding the invitation. So you can also invite the local community when delivering training for staff in specific area. You can, for example, provide the first aid firefighting training, so everyone they can know how to do the first aid for any emergency will occur, how to fight the fires, etc. There's a lot of examples in the training, and you can also provide job opportunities, and to keep that in mind for the local people. So whenever the organization work, so they feel valued for that organization that comes to their place and work, they have the impact in the surroundings. And alignment with the values, the company can share their values, can be incredibly fulfilling, and this can lead to strong sense of purpose and satisfaction. Also, social sustainability practices translate to better work environment for all employees, and the investment of the employee development So by, as we said, the mentoring opportunities, the training that provided, the career advancement. So this can help the grow professionally and achieve the career goals in both the individuals, for individuals and for the organization. Yeah, next.
Thanks a lot, Mohammed. Really, really interesting to hear sort of your experience as well around sort of social sustainability and what it means to you. So, Timothy, we'll pass to you next to hear a bit more about sort of your personal experience and the rest of the presentation. So over to you. Thanks very much.
Okay, thank you so much. That was brilliant, Mohammed. Okay, so what part of sustainability, social sustainability is important to me? I would want to consolidate on what Mohammed already explained, but maybe I would just digress a little because for me, labor, of course, social responsibility, social sustainability is more about the people. But again, I would want to speak to the fair labor practices. I'm more passionate about seeing people healthy, seeing people happy, seeing people, enjoy what they're doing. Yeah, so I'll be taking a cue from the ILO Fundamental Right at Work, 5 principles actually. The first, which is, like I said, I'm more passionate about the fair labor practices. Any practice that is good to the world, gets my attention. So the fair labor practice, what are the expectations? ILO fundamental, which is the freedom of association and effective recognition of right to collective bargaining. Yeah, it's expected that, can you hear me, please?
Yes, we can hear you, Timothy.
All right, so it's expected that employer makes fair condition for people to form unions, belong to unions where their voices can be heard, their pains can be sent across to the management, and negotiation when there are inflations, when there are, things that the management should do more. People should be free to have that sense of collective bargaining. So I'm always an advocate for that. And also the second, which is elimination of all forms of forced and compulsory labor. Yeah, there are local and international best practice to that. People should be working from their own volition. People should be working because they want to work. Nobody should be forced to work because you're indebted to somebody and all that. So that's why a condition of service should be very, very explicit. The next, which is abolition of child labor. I know that countries are theirs. In the country where I am is 18 years old. People, because having underage laborers expose them to a lot of hazards, and they might not have that confidence, competence, and capacity to, mitigate all those things. So that's why it's expected that they should reach some level of maturation. 18 is not bad for them to be able to work in our workplaces. So discrimination or with respect to employment and the occupation, fair employment opportunities, fair promotion opportunities, a promotion based on equitability is based on some already agreed KPIs and all that, such that is open to everybody. And this last one that was I think last year after some conventions was the safe and healthy work. The employer should be able to ensure that people are safe. There are safe system of work. There's a safe place of work. There are safe equipment of work, such that people come happy and return home happy. Because the only successful day for my people, for laborers, is the day they come to work and go back home very safe. So I'm sure that's pretty much why that was included as the 5th fundamental pillar. Then what has my experience been? Yeah, my experience has been good. Worked with stakeholders to implementing a lot of all this best practice. Of course, implementing through IFC performance standards and UN Global Compact and all that. Formulation of policies, grievance management, stakeholders policies, drugs and alcohol policies, forced and child labor policy, freedom of association policy. I've been privileged to be part of the formulation of all those in organization. Remember that even ISO 45001 2018, which is the occupational and health safety management, and even the environmental safety management, even some social management system tells you that people should be consulted and they should participate. So I'm happy that I've been part of such committees where we consulted the workers in all this formulation of policies and they participated in it. The grievance management is something very good, which I'm happy to have participated in it, which includes grievances where people can vent their annoyance, vent their displeasures, report some violence issues, social issues, report some abuses, report some bullying and all that, some whistleblowing avenues where people can also report anonymously because, of course, we made rooms in several places I've been, we made rooms for those anti-reprisal policies where people are not punished for all those things. So setting up all those things, development of robust risk assessment. Remember the last fundamental human right is safe environment of work. So even the IFC performance standard 1 is about risk management. Let's try and control the risks to as low as reasonably practicable so that people can come to work. Our people can come to work and return. So that's a very, very important aspect of social sustainability. Remember, Mohammed spoke about safety in one of the Maslow hierarchy of needs. Establishment of employee assistance program. Mohammed spoke to that, so where people can discuss, where you can have a training need analysis and what they want, what they don't want, what is keeping them good on the job. Remember, a happy workforce is a very productive and efficient workforce, which automatically adds to your profitability as an organization. I've also worked in organizations where they had nursing pods for women, for nursing women. That sends a kind of self-happiness, self-fulfillment, self-belonging to, employees. So that's part of social sustainability that we're talking about. I would have loved to, but for the sake of time, I would have also loved to speak to some community intervention programs in terms of CSR and all that I've been involved on. So what do I think young people should look for an employee why should they look for an employee that is socially sustainable? I spoke about that shortly. It is the only way to work. It is the only way to remain happy. It is the only way to remain productive. And the happier, the better your morale is, the effective and productive you are, and the profitable the organization will be. So for mental health and social health, I think there are some indicators, some things that young people should look out for. And organizations nationwide, globally, should also start adopting and adjusting to the social sustainability part of it. So again, yeah, so how do we then, excuse me, please. How is this important? Why is it important for organizations to now begin to build social sustainability into their system? Remember that the UN Global Compact has already said a lot, but we just brought a little of this out. It will help businesses unlock new markets. And there is an aspect of environmental and social impact assessment, impact due diligence when people are trying to invest or buy off, acquire an organization. They run a lot of reputational profiling. What are they profiling? They're profiling to see how socially sustainable your business is. And if they identify any major red flag or showstopper, that might stop new markets, that might stop new investment. So it's a good reason for organization to begin to, move towards the globally acceptable direction. It helps retain and attract talent. Yeah, people want to work where they are heard. People want to work where they are listened to. People want to work where they are cared for. So talent retention is a function of how socially sustainable your organization is. It raises employees' engagement and morale. Once their morale is high, you have low turnover. People stay more, people are more productive, people are more efficient while they work with you. It also helps to a very large extent become more innovative. People think outside. If they think like there is no box, they are very innovative, and it helps your organization at the end of the day. It improves their risk management thinking and application. People are more sensitive to applying, people are more sensitive to mitigating, people are more sensitive to what are the profiles. Remember that your E&S risk management would have spelled out what are the issues, what are the controls, what should people do to escalate, what are the contingencies and all that. So if you have a socially responsible business, definitely people are aware of their exposures on the work, and they are aware of what you've done to mitigate and to keep them safe. So it improves risk management. Next, please. Yes, so there is a question. There's a question here that do all, yeah, am I right? Yes, so do all employees operate a socially sustainable workforce? Yes, I won't say all, but I think any organization that has plans to grow should begin to align towards being socially responsible. Remember that last slide we spoke about the very many benefits, which is not exhaustive anyways. There are still a lot of benefits to operating a socially responsible organization. Now, also, we need to know how this can be harmful in case you don't run. There are provisions, there are best practices from your IFC performance standard, from risk assessment to your cultural heritage issues to people to community health and safety and all that. There are all those things there. And the UN Global Compact has also helped to, streamline the benefits of it. So in the best interest of your business, it's advisable that you operate a socially sustainable business where people can, where you've identified the social enablers and the social blockers, and you're beginning to adopt good practices such that people come to work safe, happy, they marry, they play and have fun at work, and they are still very, very productive. And your corporate image there, your corporate reputation, because your socially responsible business, your socially sustainable business speaks a lot in terms of when you now start doing your disclosures, when people start seeing your media posts and all that about people, about what you're doing, interventions and all that. So it's advisable for business to operate a socially responsible business. Next, please. So how would you know? How would you know? This is just to discuss what you can do pre-employment or when you're trying to invest in business, especially for the young guys when you're trying to get unemployment. How do you know? There are a lot of avenues that you can explore to know if this is good business for me, if this organization grants employee channels to speak, channels to be free, channels to be innovative, channels to be efficient at work. How do you know? You can research the company online to see if they mention this in their job advert or their website. Read through the job description, read through the job advert, go to their website. What are they saying about forced labor? What are they saying about freedom of speech? What are they saying about freedom of association? What are they saying about child labor? What are they saying about health and safety? Do they have their policies there? Can you see their policy on environmental and social? Can you see their policy on drug, alcohol, and illicit substances? Can you see their policy on health and safety? Can you see their works on community issues, how they are empowering their, workers, their employee engagement issues and all that? Can you see any positive thing online? Also, research the company on LinkedIn to see what posts they share. Are any related to supporting workers' development, staff development? Can you see them supporting? Oh, we had we sent some of our employee to the best business school, whatever, to learn some new innovations, new ways to doing business. Oh, this one or two of our employees were assisted through this to things that empowers employee. You can check them up on LinkedIn to see, and how do they prioritize their well-being. This can help you get a sense of what is happening in the organization. How is the culture like? Is it a socially sustainable culture, or a culture where a lot of best practice is not implemented? You also can network. I do this a lot, network with existing or former employees, if possible, to hear their personal experience. I do this a lot. I search LinkedIn, get their past employees, their present employees, engage them on a personal discussion, ask some very, very tricky questions, and some of them will be able to open up to you on the issues that you should know that will help your help your decision making. And also, to get more information, you can reach out to the hiring staff in advance for more information. Ask pertinent question. Next slide, please. Yes. So, what are those questions that you? This is very, very personal to me. There are more questions that you can ask rather than, are you socially sustainable? That seems like a bucket, but you can break it down a bit further to asking more detailed questions that will give you, a good insight to what is happening in the organization. Do you offer remote or hybrid work? During the pandemic, COVID-19, a lot of organizations functioned remotely and business was ongoing. So if organizations can function at that time and no business, a lot of business, they scale through that period. That means remote and hybrid working is very, very much possible. So you might want to ask question that, what's your stand on, do you offer remote or hybrid working in your organization? What opportunities will I have to develop myself professionally? That's what's their training plan, what's their growth plan for their, for workers. You want to know in the next 2-3 years, what will be my exposure on the work? What trainings would I, do you have plans? Do you have training budgets for, for your employees? Those questions will tell you employees that are workers, staff oriented. Does your company encourage volunteering days? Yeah, you have a social venture to volunteer for, and you might need some time off work, or even the organization, raises a volunteering group within that goes out to reach out to maybe local community within your franchise area, maybe businesses that are not surviving, maybe very, very remote areas, where you can volunteer for the sake of the people, the planet, and also, so those are questions you can ask. Do you still, excuse me, please, how do you support your employee physically and mental well-being? So you're asking about their employee assistance programs. What are their counseling opportunities? What are their interventionary systems and all that, to be sure that you are going into an organization that cares about your social and mental health. Why do employees like working for your company? Very tricky. You want to know, but the response would, I'm sure their response will be from some surveys that they've conducted in the past. Every organization will want to tell you sweet things anyways, but you need to hear those things. You need to know why people like working for their company. And do you have flexible, Mohammed spoke to this a few minutes ago. You have flexible working policies where people can work at their pace, so long as they are meeting up the KPIs and, giving the results that is desired. So next slide, please. So how to champion your employers? Yes. So as young people, how do you champion employers to place an importance on social sustainability? Yeah, I would want to say that internal and advocacies, you need to advocate for inclusive policies that do not discriminate against colleagues and promote equality at every given time. You don't want to look like you are against the organization. However, you want to always stand for the truth, for inclusive policies, for no discriminations, equality promotions and all that. You need to, for every chance, you want to be an advocate for those good business practices. You want to raise awareness of social sustainability against colleagues and the benefit for all. At every opportunity, you have to speak with leaders, with your department, with people. You want to be a voice for social sustainability. That's how to begin to redirect your employer to rechannel their efforts to doing business sustainably. You want to encourage volunteering and opportunities for company to engage with its local community. Yeah, you want to advise your organization, oh, this is local community within our franchise. How can we engage? Because your business impacts them positively or negatively. So as much as possible, maybe in terms of employment, of some levels of organization, in terms of some advocacy, some health intervention, some volunteering things that makes the world a better place. You want to champion equality by celebrating diversity and challenging biases. Yeah, you want to encourage your organizations to celebrate diversity where men, women, and everybody has equal opportunity to a lot of things, and it's not setting a bias setting in any ways. You want to talk openly about social sustainability with business leaders to encourage them to explore this. Yeah, maybe they know, maybe they don't know, but again, you want to be a voice to all this. Tell them the benefits, like I said before, that has been explained, that has been made explicit by the UN Global Compact. You want to run them through the benefits, you want to run them through the requirements, pretty much the most basic you can, use for all those. You can explore your IFC performance standard 1 to 8 to, tell them about the gaps they have and what they can do to ensure they leverage up to the best practice, which is the only sustainable practice to doing business anyways. Yes, so what do we now, how then do we now, encourage more organizations to be socially sustainable? Of course, IOSH offers a lot of platform. Again, beyond IOSH, you can, there are a lot of free business resources to encourage them to become more resilient and socially sustainable. Yeah, that's IOSH Cast the Wave. There are a lot of free reports on IOSH website about how business can implement social sustainability and why they should. There are a lot of resources that you can explore, and that's why IOSH is doing to encourage every organization to be socially sustainable. Of course, you can also explore the Catch the Wave. You can see the picture on the screen. That's the social sustainability at IOSH, and now they are powering it and to succeed on that too. Next, please. Yes, so speaking about tools that you can explore, yes, you can look out for a lot of tools on the UN Global Compact website. Reports and information there would help you. If I signed up to LinkedIn, there are online training courses. I think more on the premium wing, also on the basic, where you can take on social sustainability topics. There are a lot of free articles on social sustainability that can be accessed and read on IOSH magazine. Yeah, you would want to have a copy of that. A lot of areas, a lot of tools, a lot of topics there that you can learn from. Also, you can also explore the Deloitte Insights. Yes, a lot of reports on social sustainability to read more on the topics. Yes, on the Deloitte Insights. Yes, you can get a lot on that. Also, for members of IOSH, the IOSH Blueprint continual professional development, as a CPD tool. Yes, it provides on a list of resource on our CPD tool blueprint that you can access. Yes, you can access that. There are a lot of free resources online. Some also on the World Bank Group, some also on the sustainable financing and all those things for you to get an idea of what it is like and the social. But again, like I said before, the Deloitte Insights, the free articles on social sustainability on IOSH magazine, and LinkedIn is a powerful tool for you to get those trainings on. LinkedIn is a powerful tool. Share the next, please. Yes, so like I said before, social sustainability is just about people, like Mohammed said. For me, my top tip is just about the people. Organization, we should be able to show some very high level of empathy and care to the people, which is key, because people want to work where they are cared for, where they are heard, where their issues can be spoken about, where there are no discrimination whatsoever, where there is freedom to associate, where there are fair labor practices. Fair labor practices. The ILO is strong on that, and also you can explore the local regulations on that. So help the people to build capacity in terms of competence, awareness of their rights and responsibilities. Let it be very clear. And like the man's law that Mohammed used in his illustration, safety of the people is also key. An unsafe workforce is a very unhappy workforce, is a workforce that has low morale. So that's number one, around the people. Then two, secondly, is to donate to social cause. In terms of volunteering, in terms of you donate your time, you donate your time to train people, to tell people what and what not. You donate as an organization, you have somehow, you become socially sustainable. One of the ways is for you to also be looking at your corporate social responsibility, because whatever you do forms a social security for your facilities, for your infrastructures and all that. So for me, about the people, the organization should be able to show empathy and care. We should work on the competence of people. We should work on their rights and responsibilities, and we should also ensure they are safe, and also lend our voices and donate to social cause. That would be from me, Penny.
Thanks a lot, Timothy. Really interesting to hear your top tips, and I love the summary at the end. Really, just those key 3 points really that people should be focusing on. Mohammed, we'll pass to you to hear your top tips before we move into our Q&A.
So you can just answer one of the questions. Okay. So if you guide me with the first question, so you can answer.
Yes, Mohammed. So we're just looking to hear if you've got any top tips really for the audience.
Okay, so yeah, I will go so quickly about the top tips for my side. Thanks for the insightful tips from Timothy. For me, the top tips for the implementing social sustainability in the work or the outside the work, it's like building positive interactions. So by attention to colleagues, ask clarifying questions, be a team player to offer assistance when someone seems overloaded, um, embrace different perspectives and backgrounds, creating a welcoming environment for everyone, be transparent to provide timely updates, encouraging open dialogue, and ensure there is two-way of communication. And the second one is to encouraging work-life balance. So the organization, they can accommodate reasonable requests for flexible work arrangements to reduce stress and burnout, provide the gym memberships for the staff, advice on the healthy food options, and always you have to focus on results, not just a number of hours worked. And yeah, we can have also provide frequent breaks along the day, so they absolutely will enhance the overall performance of the staff, and they can manage the workload. And the last tip for me, it's empowering employees. So, because it's all about people. So how can empower all staff, and how can trust them with ownership and decision-making power, and to ensure all workers are participate in the, for example, the reporting of the incidents that occur within the workplace, and to consult them in their health and safety, and celebrate individuals and team accomplishments, and definitely to provide constructive feedback and encourage employees to share theirs. So the social sustainability is a continuous process. So by implementing such tips can gauge an employee feedback, so they can create a more positive, supportive, and thriving work environment. And as mentioned by OSHA in one of the IOSH guidelines I looked before, the employers are only truly sustainable when they ensure the safety, health, and welfare of their workers in general. So when we see for the people, we're focusing on people because the other pillars of the sustainability, which is the plant and the profit we make within the organization, if they cannot empower our employees and they provide the work-life balance and these positive interactions, a two-way of communication, so they cannot be able to protect the environment that they live in within it, and they cannot make profit for the organization by the end. Yeah, that's the top tips, the social sustainability. Yeah.
Thanks, Mohammed, and thanks to Timothy as well for sharing so much sort of useful information throughout this presentation. I know there's lots of food for thought, really. We've heard a lot today, and I'm sure that our participants have got lots of questions that they would now like to ask you, both on the back of the content and the presentation that we've heard. So if anyone in the audience would like to ask any questions to Timothy or Mohammed, please do feel free to type in the Q&A box, so the Q&A box rather than the chat, and I can direct those questions to Mohammed and Timothy for their thoughts. We have had some pre-submitted questions already, so if I could ask Timothy and Mohammed to keep their cameras on, and we'll get started with the Q&A. So one question that we have had that came pre-submitted from an audience member was, how can I recognise if that a business is operating with unsustainable business practices? So we've talked a lot today, I guess, around what social sustainability looks like and why it's important. But how would someone entering employment recognise if a business isn't socially sustainable? Mohammed, maybe we could start with you. If you'd just like to unmute your mic, Mohammed, that would be great.
Yeah, yes, you can just repeat again the question, please, Ben.
Yeah, so someone has asked, obviously we've heard a lot today around what social sustainability is and why it's really important. But if someone is looking to start a new job in a new organisation, how might they recognise if the business isn't socially sustainable and they're not operating sustainably?
Yeah, so we can you can just go directly to their website and what their strategy and what their plan, so toward their employees. And nowadays we have a lot of the frameworks, so that basically they focus in the employees' well-being and their health within the workplace, and how the organization also certified for the ISO standards that specifically also focus in the safety and health of workers within the workplace, and look after the well-being. And we also the last time we have specific standards that look after the workers' well-being, and yeah, there's many examples they how the organization they are practicing and they socially sustainable.
Thanks, Mohammed. And I guess key to that really is all this sort of topic that we've sort of discussed today and all these really important things to look out for. If we're looking on websites and can't see any mention of all these sorts of sustainable practices, that might be the indicator really that people aren't operating a socially sustainable business. And that's really useful. Thanks, Mohammed. Timothy, I'll direct this next question to you in that case then. So one of our participants has asked around how can we advocate for equality and equity in relation to social sustainability?
How can we do what?
How can we advocate for equality and equity? So obviously they're really important parts of social sustainability, being a equal employer, ensuring everyone has sort of equal opportunities. So how can sort of employees and business leaders promote that within their organisation and business?
Yes, so thank you very much. Yeah, I spoke to that when I was speaking to the fair treatment. When I spoke to the fair labor practice. As an employee advocating for that, you might want to, as much as you don't want to appear like you're being difficult within employees, you also want to be very tactical about it. Yeah, firstly, you might want to seek how far the organization has implemented the ILO right at work, ILO 5 principles actually. One about freedom of association, second about child and forced labor, the third about discrimination, and also about health and safety. So how do you begin to now advise and advocate within? It's by being vocal during internal meetings here and there. Internally is by meeting with leaders of the organization to discuss the benefits, like I discussed the benefits highlighted by the UN Global Compact. So you are advocating for the fulfillment of equality and all that according to SDGs. You're also advocating for the implementation of the fair labor practices within the organization. Ultimately, you're helping to change the landscape of social sustainability with the organization. Every organization wants people that, imagine trying to integrate social sustainability with the organization, and you're discussing with your management that, these are the benefits. How can we begin to, harness the benefit of this without implementing? Of course, it's no. So you help them through the journey, how best they can do it. Even if you are not in the department, even if you are an engineer or a technician and all that, you can still walk through. I'm sure you have health and safety or sustainability department and all that. Drop your suggestions. Organizations are encouraged to have anonymous or known suggestions where you can fill up a Google form or meet with somebody one-on-one to discuss the benefits of all this. So internal advocacy is key. People's voices should be heard, and that's why I spoke to the fair labor practices, where people are free to hear their voices and people are free to, air their opinions rather, and also to extend the good practices they know, such that the organization begin to, enjoy those benefits. So it's also pretty much on what Mohammed spoke on when he used the Maslow, hierarchy and all that. So organizations should be told, employees should have opened up policies where people can walk up to them and discuss on these principles. Like Mohammed said, there are a lot of principles. One which I would encourage is to harness the benefit of the UN Global Compact. So you can begin to explore the provisions and see how you can tactically, without being confrontational, how you can tactically present your ideas to the organization, and they begin to enjoy the benefits of all those provisions. There are a lot of aspects to social sustainability. So that's my suggestion. And you can also seek cooperation from external parties that volunteers to, help organizations to do better. Sometimes when you're speaking internally, external consultant that go around to do free improvement for organization can also help to, add to contribute their own voice to it, and it becomes better. So it's a lot of work, but again, don't remain silent and ensure you speak and make yourself heard in the organizations you work.
Thanks, Timothy. Really interesting to hear. And actually, I guess it's sort of a theme that's come across today is all about using your voice, and it's individuals and individuals' voice coming together that powers that change. So that's really great to hear. I guess we've had sort of a follow-up question to that, really. So someone in the chat has asked around if they're working for an organisation that's quite reactive. So rather than being proactive and really getting ahead with social sustainability, they work in an organisation that's perhaps reactive. How can they encourage people within that organisation to sort of take social sustainability seriously when the culture is sort of a reactive culture? Mohammed, perhaps you might want to pick up on that question.
Yeah, if I got your question correctly, this about what the indicators for the proactive, right, and reactive. Yeah. So for the proactively practices, we can see an organization. We just can take an example. One example for the hazard reporting. So because as we mentioned earlier, so it's all about people and to ensure the safety, the health of the workforce within the work environment. As proactively indicators and proactive measures, we can see in the organization that set specific KPIs and number of reports to be reported by all staff within the organization from the top management cascaded down. And so they can everyone this one of the tools or ways so you can use to ensure everyone participate within the workplace, and they can speak freely for the hazards that we see within the work environment. And they set the specific objective year basis. That is like, for example, we have to reach like 100 hazard reports, including the unsafe acts or unsafe conditions, to be reported by the end of, for example, 2024 by the all staff. So by this, so you can ensure everyone participate, everyone they are safe by the end, and everyone return to their home safely and healthy.
Thanks very much, Mohammed. Great answer, great to hear, really. So we are running slightly over on our webinar, so we'll finish with one final question, just a short answer from you both to hear. How has social sustainability made a difference in your work and life? So if Timothy, if you want to answer that first, and then Mohammed, just one short point around how social sustainability has made a difference to you.
Yeah, thank you. Of course, like I said before, it covers a lot around how to see people happy in terms of their living wage, in terms of opportunity, employment opportunity, in terms of their benefits, in terms of workplace health and safety. That's keeping the hazards away from them, keeping loss away, in terms of responsible supply chain and all that, also labor laws and all that. So if you are able to implement a lot around these health and safety, their remuneration, no forced labor, all those things, importantly, health and safety, it makes the difference. People are naturally attracted to a system where they feel safe and secured. If they know that you have less health and safety issues, you have less hazards, you have, of course, hazard identification is a continuous thing. You do that every day. And ultimately, you are trying to improve your safe system of work such that people come to work happy, safe, and good. So implementing all the social aspects of sustainability, it helps your business to thrive better, and it gives your business a better outlook. It gives your business a better reputation to the world. So it's a big thing, and it's a good thing to have.
Brilliant. Thanks, Timothy. And Mohammed, final question for you. Same, just to hear what's your personal experience been of social sustainability. What difference has it made to you personally in your work and life?
So within the work environment, yeah, as we mentioned, they mainly they feel proud, and they feel comfortable within the when by the end of the day, so everyone is retain safe to gather again and meet with their families and their friends. And absolutely, it's all also about the community, so around us, and uh, how can they add something to the community. So by providing awareness sessions, how to can practice the safe behavior within the workplace or outside the workplace, and advise them on the healthy habits for the foods, the training, and yeah, there's many things they can do for our community, and also for our colleagues within the workplace.
Thanks, Mohammed. Really great answer, and thank you, Timothy, as well. So we will end our Q&A session there and just finish with some final slides. We do always like to give participants an idea of what they could do next after hearing all this great information from Mohammed and Timothy. So what we would encourage you all to do now is to take some time to consider how important social sustainability is to you personally, and what factors would be important to you in the workplace, as this will help inform you in your job interviews or in your work environment. If you want to find out more about social sustainability, Timothy mentioned lots of tools and resources that you can access online for free, and we'd encourage you to look at that. And if you'd like to find out more about IOSH and the Commonwealth and how we look to support young people, we'd recommend you follow our social media channels and look on our websites for more information. As we mentioned earlier, this webinar is part of a webinar series. Our third and final webinar will be taking place on the 4th of September, and it will be a webinar focused on developing positive mental health during your first professional role. If you would like to join us again for that webinar, please do scan the QR code on the screen now with your phone. You'll be taken to a registration link, or look out for an email from us after the session today, where we will send you more information about our third and final webinar. Finally, all that's left to say is a massive thank you. A big thank you to our speakers, Mohammed and Timothy, for their excellent contributions and insights today. I know I personally have learned a lot from them both today, and hopefully all you on the call have found the webinar really useful and insightful too. Thank you again to the Commonwealth Secretariat for facilitating and supporting the session today and for making this all possible. And a massive thank you to everyone on the call for listening and for joining in with your great questions and your participation throughout the webinar. We hope you found the session useful and insightful, and we hope to see many of you at our final webinar in September. Thanks a lot, everyone, and enjoy the rest of your day.